Today, I want to talk about a article I came across from Reasons to Believe by Fuzz Rana, talking about a genetically engineered case for a creator. Let me show it to you here. And it goes into some really interesting things about a drug and how they make it, and how it really does point to the creator. So, without further ado, let's jump into this article. Have a breakdown of the big things that big takeaways from this article that you might be interested in. So here we go. So here's the link if you're interested in that. I might have that in the description below. If not, you can see it right here. You can just search for it on Reason's website. The cell design, a genetically engineered case for a creator. You can just search for that. It's pretty easy to find. All right, so overview of this article that I really want to get across here is a genetically engineered case for a creator. This article uses major synthetic biology achievement to argue that intelligent agency is a necessary explanation for biological complexity. Again, I agree with this. Scientists have engineered a anti-cancer compound with engineering, like biological engineering, to create this. And to do this, they had to use deliberate design and have a multi-step biochemical pathway, using genes from several different organisms to make this happen. The article's main emphasis is that engineering process itself reveals something very important about life. Complex integrated biological systems do not rise accidentally. Instead, let me get rid of that here. Instead, when we search systems, when we see systems like this that come into existence, whether in lab or nature, we can either see it actually happening in real time, such as in the lab, or in nature infer that it came from intelligent planning and purposeful design. And again, this is not a God of the gaps type of argument in the sense of a theistic God of the gaps. It's from what we see, the knowledge that we do have. It's inference to the best explanation. It's not just like, oh, we don't know, so it has to be God. It's no, this is what we know, and it does really look like a designer. Okay, overview of the article. You might be interested in knowing that what it's about. Synthetic biology as a case study. Yeast cells are reprogrammed to perform tasks that were never naturally capable of doing in this article. Achieving this required intentional planning, foresight, and a deep knowledge of biochemistry and genetics. The final results depend on precise coordination in many steps and not trial and error randomness. Kind of complexity that was talked about in this article requires coordination. The engineered pathway involved dozens of enzymes, or like if you want to know what an enzyme is, like a protein machine working in specific orders. And intermediate compounds are compounds that worked in between the beginning and end. Had to be carefully managed so that they did not interfere with the cellular process. So you had to control the intermediate compounds. And small errors in sequence, timing, or placement could break the entire system. It's very precise. It's just like engineering. Like if you're an engineer or a designer, or architect, you know how precise things have to be. And if you're off by just a little bit, it's a lot of issues. I mean, think about your car or your refrigerator. If one tiny little part breaks, your whole machine doesn't work anymore. Or if you're designing something and if you just design one thing wrong, you can mess things up. For example, let's say on your car you have something spinning, like let's say a tire, and you have a little block of metal that sticks out. It could be really small. It could be like an inch by an inch block of metal that sticks out and hits something in the wheels or drivetrain or something like that. And just by that, it can mess up the system. Or let's say shavings of steel that are in the motor or whatever engine. We have issues with your vehicle pretty easily, and your vehicle does not work anymore. So you need a lot of things going just well. If you like this content, please like and subscribe to this channel here. To tell me down below what you're thinking. Intelligence is the known cause. When complex functional biological systems appear in the lab, we know from direct observation that intelligent minds are responsible. Smart scientists, right? These are well-trained people that have gone through years and years of education and are learning and have learned how to do stuff like this. It takes a lot of work. It's not easy. No one attributes the new metabolic pathway to yeast to chance or unguided chemistry, rather to intelligence. We know this. You'd be quite kind of mean to say to the chemists who are doing this, the biochemists, that, oh, you weren't intelligent. That doesn't make sense at all. It's from our experience, we know these types of things were guided by intelligence. This provides real world examples of how intelligence operates in the biology. Okay, analogy to natural cells. Natural cells contain far more complex integrated systems than even the things that they produced here. even beyond this article, humans have engineered way greater things than this in the biological world, and the natural cells still beat us by millions of miles. If intelligence is required to build simplified biological systems in the lab, even biological molecular motors, it is reasonable to infer that intelligence is a greater intelligence is behind all the complexity we see in nature. This article goes on to say that based on uniform experience, it's not a gap in our scientific knowledge. Rather, it's just inference to the best explanation. It also limits the reductionism that we see. Life cannot be reduced to just DNA sequences alone. There's more information going on in the world of biology, and I pound this away quite a bit in my talks or other places, is that we have more information carrying molecules in the biological world, and not just information bearing chemicals, but also we have just even the structures of the information bearing the multidimensional structures of the information bearing structures, such as DNA, which we'll talk about some other time, where it points to that there's way more information and way more specificity needed for these things to function. And a naturalistic mindset cannot actually explain it all. Functional biology depends on networks, regulation, feedback, timing, and cellular context. And if you don't have all these things, you have a dead system. These features resemble engineered systems far more systems more than a self-organizing chemical accidents. If you want to check out my my quick guide, Why Science Points to Your Creator, feel free to check it out down below. I have a link in the description. What worldview perspectives can we take away from this? The article explicitly affirms a theistic design affirming worldview. This is pretty obvious as we read through the major points here. It argues that biological complexity is best explained by purposeful design, intelligence, not blind natural processes. And God is presented as the ultimate source, which I believe as well, of information coordination and functional integration seen in life. And this is how this is how we see it in the world of biology. There seems to be a greater intellect than us that created it. Can't be us, obviously, because we're biological as well. So something beyond us that is way more powerful, way more intelligent than us. Obviously, he nor I are rejecting lab science or biochemistry. That doesn't make sense at all. I mean, it's more of an affirmation of it than anything else. It was the Christians of the Middle Ages and even post-Middle Ages, the modern era, that came up with modern biology, modern science, I should say, in general, not necessarily biology, but science was created by Christians. Now, you'd argue that in the past, Islam and other Greco-Roman era and other people throughout the world, in fact, did it too. Of course they did. But it was modern science that was created by Christians, or at least Christian and Christian culture, Christian universities, Christian mindsets were behind the rise of the scientific enterprise. It does not deny that natural processes operate within living systems. And no, the early scientists and even today, all pretty much scientists do believe that there are natural processes, natural laws that do happen. Now, you could argue that these laws are just happen chance, or you could argue that they come from a designer, God. Okay, big picture takeaway that we really want to get across. The more biology is understood as engineered, hierarchical, unintegrated, the more it resists explanations based purely on chance and necessity. If you just want to throw that in there as a gap filler, great, but it doesn't really explain much of anything. Chance and necessity. Synthetic biology unintentionally functions as a demonstration of design, reinforcing a worldview in which life reflects intention, purpose, rather than accident. And I think this is really important, is that the world of biology does point to the creator, and it doesn't demonstrate an accident, but rather intentional design. If you like this video, again, please like, subscribe, comment down below. We'd love to have you here for future ones. If you like this way of me talking about these different articles and going over the summary of them, again, follow this channel. Again, like I said before earlier, check out my A Quick Guide Why Science Points to the Creator. Love to have you have it and have you on board. Talk to you later.